Hey everyone, Nick here with the Best Buy blog. You just heard the Spider 5 line by Line 6, which is a line of modeling amplifiers. These amplifiers are built around a digital core that models famous guitar amplifiers by legendary companies such as Marshall, Mesa Boogie, Fender, Vox, and many others. And even Line 6 has created custom models to really offer various solutions to the needs of guitarists that play in different styles. So it makes for very powerful and flexible products. And with me, I have the 30 watt model and the 20 watt model. Let me first talk about the similarities between these two models. As I said, they're all built around the same digital core, but there's not only amplifier models in these products. By the way, there's 78 different amplifiers in them, but there's also speakers. You can select the speaker type you want. If you want a Alnico magnet speaker or a ceramic magnet, no problem. There's choices for that. You get different, configurations. Also, you get 4x10, 4x12, single 12-inch speakers. Really like classic stuff that guitarists use or used to use at least. Things are heading really like the way of the modeling amplifier. But traditionally, and some dinosaurs like me still use these physical analog amplifiers. They're all modeled in these products. Apart from amplifiers and speaker models, there's also effects. On Line 6 website, they state that the Spider 5 series has 101 effects. You'll find gain type effects like a distortion and overdrive. There's compression, there's modulation, reverb, and delay. All the neat stuff you'll use to recreate classic sounds, but also to create your own sound and fulfill your artistic visions. So that's all on the modeling side, and both of these amps use the same core system, the Spider 5 brain we'll call it, and you can there's knobs on the front panels, and both of these amplifiers have a different configuration of knobs, which I'll talk about in a bit. But you can also plug these amplifiers and use an app on your computer to edit the tones. And on the app, it's really clear. You have access to all the parameters, and you'll be able to really dig deep and edit the sounds in any which way you want. So for the differences now, let's start with the front panel. On the 20 watt model, basically you have limited access to all these models. They're organized in presets, and you have access to acoustic and clean sounds, crunch and chunky and distorted sounds, and is there even presets for ambient that rely heavily on effects. There's a few knobs. There's a knob for drive, tone, volume, and reverb directly. And the last knob is for the effects, which you can select here, which ones you want on or off. So there's not a whole lot of editing compared to what the unit is capable of. For that, you'll need to edit on the app. Next, on the 30 watt model, well, there's an actual LED screen, so you'll be able to see and go from menu to menu to edit the sound however you want to edit it. It's pretty self-explanatory once you start navigating the menus. If you've had experience with these types of amplifiers, you'll feel right at home. There's a few knobs for drive, 3-band EQ, so bass, mid, treble, and volume. But these have a secondary function that you can access over here, and you'll have access to more of the effects side. So you'll have access to the compressor, to all 3 effects. You can blend them how you want. So that's a little bit more flexible than the panel options on the 20. And last but not least, the reverb. Another big difference between both of these models is that they both have an 8-inch speaker, but the 30 watt model actually has a tweeter also, so you'll have a more defined, higher fidelity sound if you play tracks through it. And speaking of tracks, this amplifier has a rhythm section, so you'll be able, it has built-in drum loops and a metronome. So for those drum sounds, with that tweeter, you actually have like a more high fidelity sound. And if you play, music through the back here, you have an auxiliary input, and you'll even have a USB connection that you can plug in an iPod in. Yeah, you'll hear like a higher fidelity result on the 30 watts. Last thing I want to mention is that the way I recorded my tracks, the tracks you heard at the beginning and the samples I'm gonna, display. I recorded some more samples and we'll listen to that in a bit. But the way I recorded them is that I used the USB outs in both of these amplifiers. I just plugged them in directly into my laptop, booted up Logic. It recognized immediately these two amplifiers as audio interfaces, and then I could use my settings on the amplifier and record them directly, which is really something that it makes the whole process so fast and easy. And it's a great way to get into recording because you don't have to mess with a lot of like different plugins and get a lot of different equipment. You can have your amplifier and your audio interface at the same place. So I recorded some more sound samples for you, just to display the various sounds you can have and showing off the effects a bit. And here they are right now. So the Spider line has been a bestseller for Line 6 for decades now, and it all makes sense because this is a smart, versatile, great product that's available to us, and it should be like it basically works for every level of guitarist or every type of guitarist. It's super versatile, so no matter the type of music you play or the level you're at, you'll have a use for these amplifiers. They're great practice tools, and now with all the USB connectivity, they are great audio interfaces. You can bypass all the models and just record dry, so you actually have a true audio interface. It's just a lot of bang for your buck, and yeah, like I said, it just makes sense that these products are bestsellers for Line 6. Between the 20 and 30 model, well, if you're going to use this product at home, I guess you should probably go with the 20 watt because it's less volume and you can leave it plugged into your computer and just edit your sounds through the app and never use the front panel ever. But if you plan on practicing with friends, jamming elsewhere, maybe practicing in a band, well, you'll appreciate the extra volume of the 30 watt model, but also the quick controls you have, and you'll be able to tweak your tones. Like sometimes when you're in band setting, the sound you're playing by yourself doesn't really fit with the other instruments, and a quick EQ adjustment fixes that. Or maybe there's like too much distortion or some stuff like that if you're playing with another guitarist. So the 30-watt model for those use cases is more appropriate. Yeah, like I said, they're really solid models. Line 6 makes dependable stuff, and it's really well thought out. So I highly recommend any of these models, and if you're interested by the other models, you can check them out on the Line 6 website. If you want more details on this product, I actually wrote a written review on Best Buy's blog, and you can find it over there. And also on that in that review, I actually linked to a video of me demonstrating the rhythm tools that are available on the 30-watt model. That is like the drum loops, and there's also a metronome, but that's pretty self-explanatory. So you get to hear what the drum loops sound like. My name is Nick. Thank you so much for watching.